to the Rockbound Post and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, a person is dead after severe thunderstorms swept through the area yesterday afternoon. We'll have that story ahead. Plus, the 8th annual Opioid Response Summit was held in Bangor. We'll bring you all the details coming up. And the University of Maine is joining a seafood industry initiative to ensure fishing remains sustainable. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up. And as always, we thank you for joining us. Now for the weather on this Friday, it seems like it will be a partly cloudy day with temperatures in the high 70s. Let's start off this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Clifton General Store. Start your morning right at Clifton General Store. Fresh coffee and hot breakfast. Family owned and operated. Alrighty, here we go this morning. We have a gale watch off the coast and that will last until about Sunday at 4 a.m. We are going to be watching for some active surf that will be occurring later on in time. We'll be watching for an upgrade later on. But in the meantime, we do have a problem that's going to be occurring later on, and that will be wildfire smoke. Not so much today, but tomorrow we do have a big wave of wildfire smoke that will be moving in starting for your Saturday. It's going to be a mess out there. We will have some issues with air quality as we do push forward. But for now, today, we do have good air quality on the way. Tomorrow, we are going to be seeing some problems. I would not be surprised if we see some air quality alerts issued. But in the meantime, no, it's looking pretty good out there. We are going to be under a mostly sunny sky as we do push forward today. As we do zoom things out, look at this, looking pretty nice out there. The entire Northeast looking quiet, set aside some air quality issues at this time. The hourly forecast pushing forward, high pressure keeping us nice. Lots of sunshine, a few passing clouds with temperatures rising into the upper 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
All right, thank you, Devin. We'll look forward to that. Well, first this morning, a person is dead after severe thunderstorms swept through the area yesterday. The person died during the height of a storm that came through Penobscot County on Thursday afternoon. Penobscot County Sheriff Troy Morton says the victim was driving north on Route 15 in Corinth a little after 1 o'clock when tree limbs came crashing down onto the car, with one going right through the windshield. It struck the driver and they died at the scene. 2 children were also in the vehicle. Morton says one of the children was in the back seat of the car at the time, and that child was treated and released. The second child was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Morton says there were treacherous driving conditions at the time of the crash and for the emergency crews that had responded. They're not sure if the tree was struck by lightning or if the wind caused the limbs to fall. That investigation is currently ongoing. Well, those fast-moving storms swept across the entire region, bringing dangerous conditions and damage. As you can see from one of the photos that we pulled from Facebook, the storm brought down power lines in many different areas. On MDI, the storm wreaked havoc around the island, triggering many emergency responses. According to the Mount Desert Islander, a sailboat actually caught wind and capsized in a cove. All aboard were pulled from the water to safety. Earlier yesterday afternoon, around 2:30, right after the storm came through Bangor, Central Maine Power was reporting more than 38,000 customers were without power, and Versant had close to 14,000. In other news this morning, authorities say the person injured in a camper explosion in Ellsworth earlier this week has died. The explosion and fire happened on Tuesday at about 3 p.m. at 253 North Street. The Department of Public Safety says the call came in for an explosion involving a bus that had been converted into a recreational vehicle. The RV was supplied by 2 25-pound propane cylinders located in the rear exterior compartment. The preliminary investigation determined that the explosion originated in a cabinet beneath the propane range. Investigators believe the most likely ignition source was the electric compressor motor of a nearby refrigerator. The sole occupant sustained serious burns and was transported to Northern Light Maine Coast Hospital. The Office of the State Fire Marshal said that occupant was 59-year-old Bruce Spencer of Ellsworth, and he died as a result of his injuries. A group of residents in the city of Ellsworth has been working for weeks to put on a ballot a measure to recall several city council members, but it remains unclear whether they received enough community support to do so. The City Council Recall Committee was formed by several locals in an attempt to remove multiple members of Ellsworth's governing board. Those on the committee stated that the effort was in response to high levels of spending. They petitioned locals for the week and needed just over 1,200 signatures to be successful in getting the measure on the ballot. According to city officials, the results should be announced by Tuesday, but it appears they did not reach that goal.
No, this has been part of our democratic process, and the petitioners appear to not have obtained the required number of signatures needed per the charter of 1279. Our clerks are going to continue to do their due diligence and validation.
We reached out to members of the recall committee for comment, but have not heard back at this time. Well, state leaders, policy experts, and advocates gathered for the 8th Annual Opioid Response Summit in Bangor yesterday. While state data shows Maine is on track for a 4th consecutive annual decrease in fatal overdoses, advocates say certain areas are not improving. Our Grace Blanchard with more.
Building hope, honoring progress, and inspiring change. That was the theme of the 8th Annual Opioid Response Summit.
In our most difficult moments, we turned despair into resolve.
Governor Janet Mills is urging Maine people to sustain the commitment to fighting substance use.
Well, I hope they continue the coalitions we've been building, the relationships we've made, and over time, the cabinet level response to the opioid epidemic.
In 2019, the governor signed an executive order to implement immediate responses to Maine's opioid epidemic. In 2024, Maine recorded its largest decrease in drug overdose deaths since 2018.
Recovery community centers, I believe there was 2, and now there is 1 in almost every county in Maine.
While state data shows Maine is on track for a 4th consecutive annual decrease in fatal overdoses, not all parts of Maine are seeing improvement.
These are people's brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, children, everything, just dying on our street.
Cities like Portland and Bangor have not seen an improvement in overdose mortality in the last 2 years.
I think in Portland and Bangor, it's housing. It's also the fact that the people that are probably most severely ill gravitate to the service centers.
With an election this November and continued threats to services and Maine Care funding, advocates say it's more important than ever to continue addressing the crisis.
So we're honoring all of that work while also looking forward to what comes next and ensuring that that work continues regardless of who is in the Blaine House.
In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news this morning, quote, "If they can't reform this agency, then it must be abolished." Those were the words said by Governor Janet Mills following Thursday's opioid summit, where she talked with reporters about the fatal shooting by Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Biddeford on Monday morning that killed 25-year-old Colombian native Johann Sebastian Duran Guerrero. Governor Mills is also questioning the Secure America Act signed by President Trump last month, specifically granting nearly $70 billion in funds for ICE, Customs, and Border Patrol over the next 3 years.
I asked the Congress back in the spring, impose minimum training requirements, regulate the use of masks, make sure people identify themselves, all these things, and require them to have body cameras. If they can't reform this agency, then it needs to be abolished.
It's a stance she's upheld following her letter sent to Senators King and Collins and Representatives Golden and Pingree. Regarding the investigation, the Maine Attorney General's office says they're focused on a, quote, "thorough, truth-seeking investigation with the federal agencies involved," and additional information will be shared when appropriate. Well, fishing is one of the oldest commercial activities in New England, and experts with the University of Maine are working to ensure its future remains sustainable. Our Doug Banks with that story.
For the 14th year in a row, Maine harvested over $500 million in seafood.
We have about 7% of the coastline of the United States, and we produce 25% of the value in seafood.
On Wednesday, it was announced that a team at the University of Maine has joined a slew of fellow institutions to build a sustainable and technologically advanced New England seafood economy. According to UMaine oceanography professor Damian Brady, one of the many ways they'll conduct their research is by deploying more than a dozen low-cost water quality sensors that will report various data in real time.
The point of this project is to bring technological innovations, whether it's robotics, AI, low-cost sensing, to this industry to help expand its production and its value.
Their project is one of 12 regional innovation engines,
and the only one that's dealing with seafood, aquaculture, and fisheries.
It's funded by the U.S. National Science Foundation for $15 million over the next 2 years.
It's possible this becomes $160 million over 10 years. In Maine, we lead the country in landing lobsters. It's 90% of the landed value in the state. But we have 5,000 license holders, and they all have 800 trap limits. That means there's millions of opportunities. If you think of every one of these traps could be an observing platform to understand the water quality in the Gulf of Maine and how it's changing. We have hundreds and hundreds to even millions of nodes in a network where fishermen could be collecting the data that directly improves their outcomes.
Brady says they aim to have the project up and running within the next couple of months. Doug Banks reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Meanwhile, the Maine Department of Transportation will be implementing a closure on the interstate that will impact drivers in the Bangor area. They will be closing Broadway under the I-95 bridge between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. on July 20th. MDOT says they will be installing bridge deck formwork from the roadway below the bridge. During those specific hours, Broadway will be closed to all vehicle traffic. Flaggers will be on site to assist pedestrians through the work zone as well. Well, the time now is 6:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, Thomas College is hosting a canine searching and detecting camp. We'll learn more ahead. But first, another look at the forecast. For today, nice day ahead, mostly sunny and windy with temperatures in the upper 70s. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy with temperatures in the mid-50s. And for tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain, highs around 78. We'll be right back.
Happy Endings in downtown Bangor. This is where a delicious dinner meets a great drink. From the first bite to the last, Happy Endings serves the kind of meal you don't rush. And behind the bar, smooth, crisp drinks made just right. Perfect for date night, a night out, or your new favorite stop downtown. Happy Endings, 32 Main Street, Bangor. Open 7 days a week. Follow us on Facebook for specials and events.
Keep your boat safe, functional, and beautiful with a Shoremaster boat lift from Hammond Lumber Company. Your Hammond sales rep can help you choose the perfect lift for your boat. Shoremaster's exclusive Whisper winch offers the industry's smoothest and quietest operation. Add speed and convenience with a Shoremaster lift motor. And Shoremaster's modular infinity design makes it easy to upgrade with accessories when you're ready. Take your boating experience to the next level with a Shoremaster boat lift from Hammond Lumber Company.
On the pavement, Sunday, October 4th at the Sea Dog on the Bangor waterfront. Register now at purpleirisfoundation.com or scan the QR code. Start a fundraiser, win prizes. Sign up by September 1st and get a free t-shirt. Goodie bags for the first 200 people to register. Cancer survivors sign up for free. Proceeds support those battling cancer in Maine. Pound the Pavement, sponsored by the Sea Dog, Summit America, Peter and Deb Brontis, Eventful Maine, ABC 7, and Fox 22.
Well, Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center is celebrating a special milestone, the nation's lowest heart attack remission rate for the second consecutive year. EMMC has topped the list once again for lowest reoccurring heart attacks, according to data from the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services. Hospital President Ava Collins said in part, quote, "This acknowledgement from CMS validates the exceptional care we provide to our patients every day. Our cardiologists, nurses, support staff, and all of the dedicated professionals across the medical center work tirelessly to ensure that the best possible outcomes, and we will continue building on the success to deliver outstanding heart care to the people of Maine," end quote. For more information, you can visit northernlighthealth.org. Well, meanwhile, high school students from across the state are learning to train service dogs at Thomas College's Canine Searching and Detecting Camp. Thomas College Professor of Criminal Justice and Security is running the camp and has been working with dogs for 4 decades. The program allows students to explore the possible careers involving canines, from therapy dogs to forensic science.
What they're doing is they're learning to evaluate the dogs, their drive, their sociability, and the nerve strength. They're learning how to imprint them on an odor. One dog is going to be doing firearms work, so we expose that dog to gunpowder. Another one's doing live search, so we have runaways with humans. And the other one is going to be involved in therapeutic work, which I'm really, really excited about because there's a lot of stuff going on with the therapy dog world right now.
Right.
Thomas College offers a minor in canine studies, which he says can tie in with majors like psychology, counseling, and criminal justice. The camp takes place every summer with no canine training experience required. Well, the Maine Department of Labor has launched 2 new tools to help anyone looking for a job. Once a candidate creates a Maine Job Link account, they can use Career Explorer. Users can take an assessment to take into account their interests so that they can learn about career paths that match their interests. There's also a new AI resume evaluator tool that helps people tailor their resumes to specific job openings. Labor Commissioner Laura Fortman says, quote, "These new job link tools will help connect people's skills, interests, and aspirations with opportunities across Maine, making it simpler to explore careers, strengthen resumes, and take the next step towards meaningful employment." Well, the time now is 6:16. After the break, we'll recap President Trump's primetime address from last night. Those details coming up. Plus, we'll learn all about a historic recording studio in Blue Hill. Those stories and more straight ahead on Good Morning Maine.
Ready to create your backyard oasis? Alexander's Professional Landscaping will work with you to create your perfect outdoor space. Work one-on-one with our landscape designer to create a unique garden to fit your family's personal aesthetics and lifestyle. Have our pros install your new lawn, garden, or patio. Schedule a consultation today by calling 573-4497. Alexander's Professional Landscaping, the way landscaping should be.
Some days start with busted belts and bruised knuckles. But out here, fixing things is just part of the ride. No matter what I'm doing, I have just the right tool close by. From the workshop to the ballpark, it's about making a difference where it counts. From fixing it right to living it fully. Coastal Auto Parts and Milwaukee Packout Systems help me get to the moments that matter most with the people that matter more.
When I was 29, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I think part of research and advocating for more money for cancer research allows survivors to have more time. Senator Collins supports and advocates for more funding for cancer research so that people can have better treatments, they can have better outcomes, and therefore they can live better lives as cancer survivors. Thank you, Senator Collins. Continue fighting for our families.
Welcome back, everyone. A historic Blue Hill property that once served as a recording studio for Noel Paul Stuckey of the 1960s folk group Peter, Paul and Mary is up for sale. Our Grace Blanchard sat down with Stuckey and the current owner to talk about its past and future.
I remember standing out on that concrete platform and singing, "The building block that was rejected became the cornerstone of a whole new world." And that's where the name New World came from, and that became the name of the recording studio.
Noel Paul Stuckey of the 1960s folk band Peter, Paul and Mary spent countless hours recording music in what has become known as the historic hen house in Blue Hill.
Tim Sample, the main comic, I edited and produced some of his work up here, and then and I did at least 3 or 4 albums of mine were done out of this studio with a group called the Bodyworks Band.
Stuckey purchased the abandoned chicken house in the early 1970s. It went on to house his recording studio, a radio station, animation studio, and more.
And this is the actual studio itself. And the control room was back here.
He says he was seeking refuge from the life of fame, and that's what drew him to Vacation Land.
Peter, Paul and Mary had an unusually quick rise to popularity in the 60s. And by the end of 1960, I just was desperate to find some solid footing again with my family.
He sold the property in the 1990s. It became a multi-unit apartment building and was sold again in 2016 to current owner Greg Bush. But now Bush says he is leaving Maine and has put the house on the market.
I tried to preserve as many artifacts like these, etc.
Bush says he is looking for a buyer that will reinvent the space to honor its historic presence of creativity.
I wish it would be some kind of writer or musician retreat, because I think this is a cultural asset of significance to Blue Hill. It has been and should come back that way.
Stookie, who still resides in Blue Hill throughout much of the year, plans to share more of his accounts in an autobiography that is currently in the works.
I'll never drive by it without taking a deep breath of pride in that what began as a kind of a discarded piece of real estate became a center for an artistic community and continues to provide some worth to the community.
In Blue Hill, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, the time now is 6:21. Let's get a full look at our forecast. Meteorologist Evan Biggs is in with the latest.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Clifton General Store. Start your morning right at Clifton General Store. Fresh coffee and hot breakfast, family owned and operated. Alrighty, here we go. There's that gale watch again. That is up until Sunday at around 4 a.m. Along the coast, there it is right there, a small area right there. We are going to have to keep an eye on things for some active surf that will be occurring until about that time frame. We will see an upgrade at least later on in due time. Wave height's not too bad at this point at around 1 to 2 feet according to the buoys. A little more active farther out towards sea at around 4 to 5 feet. But meanwhile, though, wildfire smoke is going to be a problem. Not so much today. We're looking pretty good, but as we head towards your Saturday, we are going to be watching for some more wildfire smoke from fires in Canada and a little bit over in Minnesota too as we head towards Saturday morning. And this will be reaching toward the surface pretty much throughout the day on Saturday, but if any good news, it's not going to be lasting very long. By Saturday evening, it will be clearing from the area. But for now, we are looking pretty good out there. No air quality issues, and we are forecasted to stay in the good category today. Now, tomorrow might be a different story, but in the meantime, for right now, we are looking pretty good out there. We will be under a mostly sunny sky today, and we are looking pretty clear at this time thanks to high pressure. The entire Northeast is looking pretty clear, set aside from the wildfire smoke. Other areas up in Canada seeing some precipitation. That's about where the fires are at right now, and this is actually good news right now. The rainfall should help to make a dent in the fires at this point. But futurecast moving forward, again, we are seeing some sunshine and some clouds today. Later on tonight, we will be under a mostly clear sky. And for tomorrow, as the smoke moves in, we'll also have some clouds out there, some showers and even some thunderstorms on the way. We'll have rain showers during Saturday afternoon. By Saturday night, scattered showers and thunderstorms will be a possibility. Let's talk about the dew points real quick. We'll see dew points rising real quick for your Saturday, dropping Sunday, rising again as we head towards next week. Your forecast coming up for today, mostly sunny and windy, highs in the upper 70s, northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. By tonight, we have mid-50s under a partly cloudy sky with the wind overall looking nice and calm. And then for tomorrow, here we go. Mostly cloudy, some showers, areas of smoke as well with highs in the upper 70s and a south wind at around 25 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast. Sunday, showers and thunderstorms, highs in the upper 70s. Partly cloudy Monday, highs in the mid 80s and upper 70s for your Tuesday under a mostly cloudy sky.
You've had such a huge year. What are you hoping for next?
From getting married to his highly anticipated return to the big screen as Spider-Man.
You ready?
Tom Holland is having a heroic year. And Monday, it's Tom and George, only on
Good Morning America.
Take a step back in time with the Bangor Historical Society. Located in the heart of Bangor, the Society brings local history to life through fascinating exhibits, historic collections, and guided tours for all ages. Explore artifacts, photographs, and stories that help shape our community, and a special viewing of a copy of the Declaration of Independence celebrating America at 250. Whether you're a history lover or just looking for something unique to experience, there's always something new to discover. Open Tuesday to Saturday from 10 to 4.
Did you know Susan Collins was the deciding vote for Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade? And she voted to put more than 100 Trump judges on the bench. Because of Susan Collins, states are banning abortion with no exceptions for rape or incest. And women are dying. And she's still standing by it.
I do not regret that vote.
Tell Susan Collins, stop voting for Trump's anti-choice judges.
Still getting glitched by cable internet? Enough already. Fidium is 100% fiber internet. Ultra reliable, lightning fast. So everything you do online works exactly like it should.
Zach, go to bed.
Fiber up to Fidium. Get plans starting at only $30 a month at fidiumfiber.com.
Letters flip, the wheel spins round. Fortunes rise with every sound. Wheel of Fortune, thrills begin. Weeknights at 7, come and win. On ABC 7, let's make it a date. Wheel of Fortune, don't be late. I'm Sue from Garland, and I'm a wheel watcher.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Lawmakers are reacting after President Trump's primetime address in which he claimed China interfered in the 2020 election. He spoke for more than 20 minutes and shared documents on the White House website that he believes proves his point. ABC's Karen Waugh is in Washington, where the ABC News team combed through those documents.
This morning, a closer look at President Trump's primetime address, in which he claimed China interfered with the 2020 election.
Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen, and the trust of the American people was lost. This cannot be allowed to continue.
President Trump did not provide any evidence showing votes were altered. Instead, he made several documents public, posting them on the White House website.
I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence, revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure.
ABC News reviewed the documents and found they describe efforts to obtain, not alter, voter records. Many voter records can already be legally obtained from states. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer telling reporters Trump is looking backwards because he's scared to lose in November. And Jim Hines, the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, says Trump's claims are dangerous, especially with midterm elections coming up.
He's laying the foundation to be able to tell America after Election Day that the election was corrupt and therefore should not be respected.
Republicans also responded. Georgia's Secretary of State saying, I will review the reports and supporting documents. And Ohio's Secretary of State saying, President Trump offered some concerning information that needs to be fully examined and investigated. Most of the intelligence leaders Trump pinned blame on were appointed by him, including the directors of the CIA, National Intelligence, Departments of Justice, and Homeland Security. President Trump is pushing lawmakers to pass his Save America Act, which he claims would require people to show photo ID and proof of citizenship to vote. Senate leaders say the bill does not have the votes to pass. Karen Waugh, ABC News, Washington.
Well, new details about the deadly shootings involving immigration officers here in Maine and in Texas. The shootings now prompting changes in the way ICE handles traffic stops. ABC's Karen Waugh also has that report.
The Associated Press reports the officer allegedly involved in that fatal ICE shooting in Biddeford, Maine this week has a history of mental health issues. The AP reports the officer's relatives say he has a history of violent behavior, but they insist he acted in self-defense. 25-year-old Johann Sebastian Guerrero of Colombia was killed. Officials say Guerrero was not a target of the investigation, but they say he tried to flee the scene, and the officer fired his weapon, fearing for public safety. ICE says the officer involved has nearly a decade of federal law enforcement experience. Meanwhile, in Houston, we heard from a lawyer for the family of Lorenzo Salgado Arujo, who was fatally shot last week. She says bags of a white crystal-like substance seen in Salgado Arujo's van were not drugs, but salt, part of a homemade electrolyte mix used by outdoor workers in the Texas heat. The district attorney says any test results on that substance will have no bearing on whether the shooting was justified. In the wake of these shootings, sources say ICE has issued new protocol for traffic stops, requiring at least one officer with a body camera and another with specialized training.
Karen Hua, ABC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced this week that troops will be tested for low testosterone. Fox News' Ted Linder has more from a doctor about testosterone and its checkered past with the military.
I'm authorizing a new screening program for testosterone deficiency for our service members.
This week, the Defense Secretary announcing a new testosterone screening program for U.S. troops. In a video posted to social media, Pete Hegseth said it'll be required for service members to be tested every year, with the exception of those under 30. For them, testing would be voluntary.
Because it's well-established science that as we age, testosterone levels often naturally drop.
Testosterone use in the military has had a bit of a complicated past, with the death of a Navy SEAL recruit in training in 2022. His passing uncovered substances he was using, including testosterone, which then revealed a far more rampant drug use among the entire program. Wednesday, Hegseth maintaining
it's not about artificial enhancement. It's about restoring and optimizing your natural capabilities.
Doctors are now weighing in about low testosterone and what that can look like.
Lowered energy, lowered mood, difficulty keeping off fat or maintaining a lean body mass, and having a decreased sex drive.
And testosterone replacement therapy, which Hegseth said would be voluntary.
If monitored properly and properly prescribed, we do believe it to be safe in men who have deficient testosterone.
The move comes as other Trump administration officials have begun to advocate for men to have easier access to testosterone replacement therapies. I'm Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Well, now to the wild weather. Parts of Texas seeing nearly a year's worth of rain just in 3 days, while in the Midwest and Northeast, dangerous air quality as wildfire smoke moves south. ABC's Sophie Flay has more.
This morning, massive plumes of wildfire smoke choking the Midwest and Northeast for a third day. 115 million Americans are under air quality alerts across 19 states. From Chicago to Detroit to New York, some of America's biggest cities shrouded in a thick orange haze, skylines vanishing, the smoke blotting out the sun. In Philadelphia, the Mets-Phillies game had to be moved up 1 hour because of the smoke.
Not the greatest idea, I guess, to come out here and play in this type of weather, but, we're doing it.
The FAA slowing arrivals into Philadelphia's airport, pilots seeing ash in the air.
Yeah, it's adhering to the windshield. I've never seen it stick to the windshield like this.
Milwaukee reporting its worst air quality on record. In Toledo, Ohio, readings topped 800. Anything over 300 is considered hazardous.
When you get to these burgundy dots, that's hazardous.
When the air quality index tops 200, experts advise everyone to wear a mask. And the threat could linger. More than 850 fires are still burning across Canada, with 30 new fires in the past day alone. Meanwhile, in Texas, a different disaster. Walls of water inundating hill country. In Uvalde, this rescue from the air. A state helicopter crew dropping down to a flooded home and lifting out this family, along with their 2 dogs. Receding waters revealing the devastation.
And in this Kerrville neighborhood, the power of the floodwaters is just undeniable. It rammed this SUV up the tree and another car into the house.
At least 2 people were killed when they were swept away by floods. A woman in her car and a man in his RV. This RV park was hit hard, but everyone here got out before the flood. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, a dog is going viral after a video from the Miami Marlins bark at the park night. This and more as Good Morning Maine continues.
Need a driveway paved or an entire road surfaced? Give Eaton Paving and Excavation a call. Eaton Paving offers a full line of excavation packages, from new home projects to new and replacement septics and driveways. We also install new shoreland and do shoreland repairs. Our operators have more than 75 years combined experience, and we have been delivering quality, professional service for nearly 3 decades. We strive to exceed your expectations. Give us a call today at 207-348-5630 or visit us at EatonPaving.com.
Here at Twin City Tire and Service, you will be working with industry professionals. We have ASE certified master technicians and certified tire and lube technicians. If we need your vehicle for a duration of time, we offer a complimentary shuttle service and can even offer a loaner vehicle. Being a client at Twin City Tire and Service means that we will treat you right. This includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on mechanical repairs. We also provide you with 1 year of complimentary roadside assistance. Come see us today at Twin City Tire and Service in Brewer.
Live from the Maine Lobster Festival in Rockland, it's the Lobster Crate Races. Watch fearless racers dash across floating lobster crates. Will they make it or take a spectacular splash? Who will stay on their feet and who will take the plunge? Don't miss the Lobster Crate Races live from the Maine Lobster Festival, Sunday, August 2nd at 2 p.m. only on Fox 22.
Family Feud asks, what were they thinking?
Name a bad job for someone who counts very slowly. Counts very slow. Counts very slowly.
A stripper, Steve.
Damn it, it's your turn back on stage. Wait a minute.
Thinking about fun? Watch Family Feud.
Damn it, it's your turn. Wait a minute. 31, 32.
Weekdays at 9 on ABC 7.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
A 106-year-old chess master in California is sitting down with a whole new generation to teach them the art of the game and some valuable life lessons away from the screen along the way. Fox's Mina Wahab has more on how chess could be good for the mind.
Good luck. Okay, who's going to win?
The battle is on.
He's going to win.
One move at a time. This game in Port Hueneme pits a 106-year-old master against a 6-year-old challenger, proving the timeless quality of chess.
Well, I'm certainly not winning. I don't think anyone is winning yet.
The objective here is simple. Protect your king and outsmart your opponent. But there's a lot more that goes into this game of life.
The intensity that the games bring has been so much fun. Watching the kids do things that are not on a screen has been incredible to watch. And the strategy that it teaches, the patience that it teaches, and it really just shows you to think 3 moves ahead in life.
Or if I let him take my pawn and he...
For kids, chess can mean learning to slow down, think ahead, and work through a challenge.
His queen could go forward.
At first, when I didn't know how to play, I was like, I can't do it. Like, I can't win. And then when you keep playing, it gives you experience, and then you win.
Whoever can think the most moves in the future invariably wins.
86-year-old Art Mortel helps set up chess clubs around the region.
Critical thinking, chess, the game of life.
Saying it's the best way for kids to learn how to think critically.
And I love asking children when we start, would you prefer to win and learn nothing or lose and get better? And they always say, I want to lose and get better, but none of us really mean that. We'd rather win.
And for a restless mind, chess just might be the solution.
Chess may be the greatest positive addiction that can be, particularly for children. So that when they're under stress, they come home, and there's anxiety, particularly with what's happening in the world today, then to be able to go on chess.com, chess.org, have a friend.
For older players, the game offers a different kind of workout.
It teaches a lot of thought. It requires a lot of thought.
Do you feel like there are things that you learn in chess that you can apply in your everyday life?
No.
And apparently a sense of humor. Throughout the region, the game is helping keep minds active and bringing generations together.
I come here, you come here.
one chess piece at a time. In Ventura County, I'm News Channel reporter Mina Wahab.
Now let's turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Clifton General Store. Start your morning right at Clifton General Store. Fresh coffee and hot breakfast. Family owned and operated. Alrighty, here we go this morning. We have a gale watch off the coast, and that will last until about Sunday at 4 a.m. We are going to be watching for some active surf that will be occurring later on in time. We'll be watching for an upgrade later on. But in the meantime, we do have a problem that's going to be occurring later on, and that will be wildfire smoke. Not so much today, but tomorrow we do have a big wave of wildfire smoke that will be moving in starting for your Saturday. It's going to be a mess out there. We will have some issues with air quality as we do push forward. But for now, today, we do have good air quality on the way. Tomorrow, we are going to be seeing some problems. I would not be surprised if we see some air quality alerts issued. But in the meantime, no, it's looking pretty good out there. We are going to be under a mostly sunny sky as we do push forward today. As we do zoom things out, look at this, looking pretty nice out there. The entire Northeast looking quiet, set aside some air quality issues at this time. The hourly forecast pushing forward, high pressure keeping us nice. Lots of sunshine, a few passing clouds with temperatures rising into the upper 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
All right, thank you, Devin. Well, still to come here this morning, Max Sturm with sports. Don't go away.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Lincoln, is brought to you by Daddy and Daughters. Come and see us at our Lee location and turn your scrap into cash. Coastal Auto Parts, your local Napa Auto Parts dealer with 30 locations. Owned and operated by a Maine family that cares. Steaks and Stuff in Lincoln is your local community supermarket.
Need a driveway paved or an entire road surfaced? Give Eaton Paving and Excavation a call. Eaton Paving offers a full line of excavation packages, from new home projects to new and replacement septics and driveways. We also install new shoreland and do shoreland repairs. Our operators have more than 75 years combined experience, and we have been delivering quality, professional service for nearly 3 decades. We strive to exceed your expectations. Give us a call today at 207-348-5630 or visit us at EatonPaving.com.
The right dock should fit your shoreline and make life on the water easier, more rewarding, and more fun. When you choose Shoremaster from Hammond Lumber Company, you get all that, along with unmatched strength, versatility, and style. Shoremaster's tool-free Infinity Track system makes adding accessories a breeze. Hammond also offers poly-dock floating docks, perfect for deep or fluctuating waters. Transform your waterfront into your personal paradise with a Shoremaster Infinity Dock system or floating poly-dock system from Hammond Lumber Company.
Half-off deals are waiting for you at foxbangor.com. Click on half-off deals and see how much you can save only at foxbangor.com.
Welcome back in, folks. This weekend, the 36th annual Lobster Bowl will be played at Lewiston High School, and it'll be a special day for everyone, but especially John Bass and East head coach Dan O'Connell, who will get the chance to coach his son for the first and final time since Pee Wee football.
Every one of these is special, and that's not just lip service.
For Maine high school football coaching legend Dan O'Connell, this week marks his 18th year involved with the Maine Shrine Lobster Bowl Classic. However, this year he serves as head coach, and to make it even sweeter, his son Matt is on the team.
Just having him behind us and having him as a role model and a coach has been very special.
For about 2/3 of those 18 years, Matt has been by Dan's side during Lobster Bowl week. At first, he was just a kid being a kid, but as he got older, he dreamt of the day he got the opportunity to suit up for the East Squad.
Since I was yay high, 8 years old, I've wanted to play in the Lobster Bowl. I've watched YouTube videos, all the Bangor guys can attest to it. They've been like, Maddie, why are you watching all these videos? I was like, because I want to be there. And I finally hit my goal, and obviously I'm not done playing football, but to play one more game for the cause and for this game would be very special.
Only 45 of the state's graduating seniors from each region make up the Lobster Bowl roster, which whittles it down to the best of the best. Dan says seeing his son set then achieve a goal is what means the most.
What I'm most proud of for Matthew is that when he first started coming here, he just thought it was a great week to just be on vacation and be around football. But as he got older, and especially once he couldn't come as much when he was in high school himself, it really meant something to him to be part of this. It was a goal of his.
As a father, you not only watch your son grow up, but also those friends who were by his side the whole way. And there's a handful Dan gets to coach this week.
Growing up, going to school with Maddie, obviously the other two that are here with us, Zach and Trey, I mean, you kind of grow into a special relationship, and then having Dan around, he's almost like a second father and a second coach too.
Watching these kids grow up that I've known since the younger levels is an emotional thing. I'm not afraid to admit I've teared up 19 times this week, maybe more, doing it now. But the special thing about this game is that you get that way for all of them.
This has been a week 18 years in the making for the O'Connells, and they're embracing every moment with the 44 other honorary O'Connells up until Saturday night.
Regardless of the outcome, I won't want it to end on Saturday. It will have to, but it's already been that fulfilling prophecy I thought it would be, and so much more.
What a great story. We'll have coverage of that game for you this weekend. Folks, believe it or not, we are halfway through the MLB season. The All-Star game has come and gone, and the Red Sox are looking ahead as they try and rebound this season. The first half of the season for Boston was a rather forgettable one. Most of the coaching staff, including Alex Cora, was fired, and on June 24th, they sat with a 32-46 record, which put them at the very bottom of the American League. But since then, the Sox have been on a roll. They have gone 14-3 to rally back to nearly 500, which puts them just a half a game outside of the last American League wildcard spot. Their run included a 9-game win streak and a 3-road series sweep. First baseman Wilson Contreras says the team remains confident in their chances to make the playoffs and that they're just trying to have fun with it.
We have confidence in ourselves, and that's one thing that I always tell the guys. Let's believe in each other, let's respect each other, and go there and have fun. Of course, we want to win, we want to play the perfect game, but the perfect game doesn't exist. We just have to do the small things like we've been doing the last couple of series, last couple of weeks, and we want to be in a good spot.
That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
ABC 7, Fox 22. The place we call home, telling main stories wherever you roam. From sunrise shores to forests of pine, hard work, strong hearts, values that shine. From old towns to harbors, back roads to ocean blue. Neighbors helping neighbors in all that we do. Through storms and clear skies, day after day, we're here with the stories that matter in Maine. From mountains to sea, standing strong and true. This is Maine, this is home on ABC 7, Fox 22.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, this morning, one adorably hungry pooch that's been going viral across social media is finally getting what he's been longing for. Many people have seen this video by now, but they may not know his story with something he might love just as much as hot dogs: his family. Here's ABC's Danny New.
Maybe you've seen this now famous video from a few weeks ago when this poor guy really wanted to take a big chomp out of another dog's hot dog during a Miami Marlins Bark at the Park night.
This is the stare that millions of people saw when he wanted a hot dog.
He does it
every day.
His name is Jonah, and his mom, Amy, says she screamed on the couch when she saw so many people, including the Marlins, trying to find Jonah on social media. For starters, their family was just watching the game when this secret stare down happened.
We really had no idea this was going on. And I'm just like, that looks like Jonah.
Well, Jonah's cuteness garnering social media attention has actually been a big theme in their family's journey with him. In 2020, Amy's husband Peter first saw these photos of Jonah as a puppy on Facebook after he was found in a cage with his brothers in Aruba. An organization Peter volunteered with, called the New Life for Paws Foundation, rescued them and brought them to the States.
It wasn't his intention to adopt. It's just he fell in love with Jonah.
But wait, there's more. At that time, Peter and Amy had not seen each other in 15 years. They used to be friends way back when, but one day Peter shared a picture of Jonah on social media. Amy hearted that photo, and then
He reached out to me and was like, hey, how are you doing? And then it kind of went off from there. So Jonah is not just a hot dog story. Like, he's a big part of our love story.
This is the very good boy right here.
But fast forward a few years to this past Sunday, where Jonah was the guest of honor at a Marlins game. Peter threw out the first pitch. The family sat in a suite filled with hot dog-shaped chew toys and a custom doghouse.
Jonah, let's get you your hot dog, buddy.
And yes, Jonah finally got to live the dream and just enjoy a hot dog at the ballpark.
It became bigger than we thought it would, all because he was a good boy.
And I want to make sure I mention that Amy and Peter actually raffled off 2 of the tickets for their suite to raise money for the organization that brought them Jonah, the New Paws for Life Foundation, and invited the founder to attend with them as well. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
Well, maybe the Marlins would consider giving him a lifetime supply of hot dogs. Well, now here's meteorologist Devin Biggs with our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Clifton General Store. Start your morning right at Clifton General Store. Fresh coffee and hot breakfast, family owned and operated. Alrighty, here we go. There's that gale watch again. That is up until Sunday at around 4 a.m. Along the coast, there it is right there, a small area right there. We are going to have to keep an eye on things for some active surf that will be occurring until about that time frame. We will see an upgrade at least later on in due time. Wave height's not too bad at this point at around 1 to 2 feet according to the buoys. A little more active farther out towards sea at around 4 to 5 feet. But meanwhile, though, wildfire smoke is going to be a problem. Not so much today. We're looking pretty good, but as we head towards your Saturday, we are going to be watching for some more wildfire smoke from fires in Canada and a little bit over in Minnesota too as we head towards Saturday morning. And this will be reaching toward the surface pretty much throughout the day on Saturday, but if any good news, it's not going to be lasting very long. By Saturday evening, it will be clearing from the area. But for now, we are looking pretty good out there. No air quality issues, and we are forecasted to stay in the good category today. Now, tomorrow might be a different story, but in the meantime, for right now, we are looking pretty good out there. We will be under a mostly sunny sky today, and we are looking pretty clear at this time thanks to high pressure. The entire Northeast is looking pretty clear, set aside from the wildfire smoke. Other areas up in Canada seeing some precipitation. That's about where the fires are at right now, and this is actually good news right now. The rainfall should help to make a dent in the fires at this point. But futurecast moving forward, again, we are seeing some sunshine and some clouds today. Later on tonight, we will be under a mostly clear sky. And for tomorrow, as the smoke moves in, we'll also have some clouds out there, some showers and even some thunderstorms on the way. We'll have rain showers during Saturday afternoon. By Saturday night, scattered showers and thunderstorms will be a possibility. Let's talk about the dew points real quick. We'll see dew points rising real quick for your Saturday, dropping Sunday, rising again as we head towards next week. Your forecast coming up for today, mostly sunny and windy, highs in the upper 70s, northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. By tonight, we have mid-50s under a partly cloudy sky with the wind overall looking nice and calm. And then for tomorrow, here we go, mostly cloudy, some showers, areas of smoke as well with highs in the upper 70s and a south wind at around 25 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast. Sunday, showers and thunderstorms, highs in the upper 70s, partly cloudy Monday, highs in the mid 80s and upper 70s for your Tuesday under a mostly cloudy sky.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless craftsmanship, Richard Henderson and Sons Masonry, taming the outdoors through groundwork, retaining walls and seawalls, building custom fireplaces that become the centerpiece of your home, crafting granite steps and patios that invite you outdoors, designing hardscapes that turn yards into living spaces, built to last, crafted for life. Richard Henderson and Sons Masonry, quality in every stone. Got old metal and junk cars? Turn that clutter into cash at Daddy and Daughters. We make recycling easy, fast, and fair. From Skowhegan to Dover Foxcroft, from Troy to Lee, you can trust our certified scales and friendly service, offering top prices for junk vehicles in Maine. Whether you drop off or we pick up, Daddy and Daughters covers central and eastern Maine. Come see us at one of our 4 locations and watch your scrap pay off. Daddy and Daughters turn scrap into cash.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
A guy wearing a mask took your son. He gets snatched by somebody?
Tonight, the new 2020 interview. The survivor who helped break the case wide open. 2020 tonight on ABC and stream on Disney Plus and Hulu.
Next Jeopardy! It's been smooth sailing for this super champ. Now,
it got really bumpy. I really thought our boat might capsize.
Who will chart a course to victory?
This just got interesting.
Only on ABC 7.
A group of Bolivian women and girls sport their traditional indigenous attire as part of a movement to make skateboarding more inclusive. In La Paz, Bolivia on Thursday, traditional indigenous Polaris skirts showed up at the skate park. A group of women and girls sported the attire as they competed in a youth skateboarding talent show, taking part in the new Women on Wheels movement, helping to reinforce their indigenous identity in their daily life. Participants say they hope that the move will be a push toward making skateboarding a more inclusive sport for not only women and girls, but for indigenous communities as a whole. One competitor said that she hopes to, quote, merge our culture and the sport that we like, adding that wearing a Polaris skirt, a bell skirt layered with petticoats, makes her feel closer to her grandmother. While skateboarders usually practice in jeans and t-shirts, the competition now challenges them to wear the Polaris skirt. According to the World Bank Group, Bolivia is home to one of the highest proportions of indigenous people in Latin America. How cool is that? Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22. Have a great weekend, everyone.
What if you could whiten your teeth by simply brushing your teeth? Now you can with Smile Actives, the teeth whitening breakthrough that safely gets your teeth white.
Line of credit, you can borrow up to your credit limit over 10 years with interest-only payments over those 10 years, 10-10. And then you can stop and smell the roses, soak up the sun, and invest in your nest. The 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, the County Federal Credit Union, countyfcu.org.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Located on Wilson Street in Brewer, Yoshi Japanese Restaurant, where you'll find only the best sushi, Asian favorites, and specialty crafted cocktails that will satisfy anyone. Try tatami seating for an immersive experience. Yoshi Japanese Restaurant, bringing delicious traditions to you.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
Fresh off the World Cup, the summer of soccer rolls on.
It's just magnificent.
As MLS returns tonight on Fox with a doubleheader.
The Borchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix, Sunday, right after the World Cup final on Fox. Welcome to the fastest racing on earth.
Let's go get this big money.
Know the song faster than Shazam and win. Beat Shazam returns July 28th on Fox.
Good Morning Maine on WFVX, Fox 22. From the Great Northwoods to the Rock Mount Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, a person is dead after severe thunderstorms swept through the area yesterday afternoon. We'll have the story ahead. Plus, the 8th Annual Opioid Response Summit was held in Bangor. We'll bring you all the details coming up. And the University of Maine is joining a seafood industry initiative to ensure fishing remains sustainable. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up, including an interview this hour regarding Bradford Days. And as always, we thank you for joining us. Now for the weather on this Friday, it seems like it will be a partly cloudy day with temperatures in the high 70s. Let's start off this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
All righty, Janessa.